I hate lawns. All across Oak Park, I see the sterile, manicured grass that we've grown accustomed to, and it fills me with a sense that there is more to reach for. Grass lawns steal land away from the plants that used to call the prairie home and destroy biodiversity. Grass does not produce food or shade or a substantial habitat for our native wildlife, and yet it dominates our communities. People pour hours of their week into their lawns with very little return. Grass seed is bought and sprinkled on bald patches. Weed killers are sprayed on the plants that they don't want. Water bills are raised so that sprinklers can run for hours at a time. Across America, there are 40 million acres of lawn, which in total use 9 billion gallons of water every day. The weed killers, herbicides, and pesticides used on these lawns eventually flow into our rivers through the rainwater and the sewage. This contaminated water then creates algae blooms, clogs fish's gills, and suffocates eggs and larvae. The carbon emissions from gasoline lawnmowers is another thing to consider. Using a gas lawnmower for 1 hour is the equivalent of driving a car 45 miles. Native plants are being erased, even though they are perfectly suited to our environment. Native plants have a special place in my heart because my grandma always tells me about the ones that she's planted in my yard. I remember her telling me about how milkweed is the only source of food for monarch caterpillars. I remember rubbing a mint leaf in between my fingers and watching the coneflowers bloom. Although some yards are like mine, with a mix of native and non-native plants, many just have grass. Native species are in jeopardy because of the popularity of grass lawns. Almost half of flowering plants are estimated to be endangered because of human-driven habitat loss and invasive species. Additionally, 99% of tallgrass prairie in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Iowa has been lost, with only a fraction of true prairie remaining. Native plants are a big part of managing stormwater, reducing flooding and erosion, and managing water quality. Not only are these plants useful to us, they are super helpful for the insects that use them for food and shelter. The devastating amount of habitat loss is a huge part of the declining insect populations. When I was little, I remember catching fireflies with my friends on summer evenings. Fireflies are insects that use bioluminescence to light up their abdomens and attract a mate. They are active on summer evenings where their yellow blinking lights are unmistakable. I would hold them in my hand and watch as they crawled to the tip of my finger and flew away. If I lost track of one, I could always be certain that there was another one close by. Now, as I grew older, I no longer stopped catching fireflies, I stopped noticing them entirely. I later learned that this is because their populations have dropped swiftly. The process of raking leaves may seem like a normal part of lawn maintenance, but is actually the destruction of a habitat. The fallen leaves provide cover from predators and insulation for our insects to survive the winter. Not only the removal of leaves, but the grass lawns themselves are not sufficient habitats for our insects that hold up our environment by pollinating flowers, aerating the soil, and breaking down organic matter. The process of raking leaves, cutting grass, and using harsh chemicals is destroying our biodiversity. I think about the newer generations and how they won't understand the joy of holding a roly-poly in your hand, watching a fuzzy bumblebee buzz from flower to flower, or the magic of summer evenings' twinkling lights. And as I first saw the statistics and I heard the facts, I felt scared and overwhelmed. I felt like there was nothing I could do but watch biodiversity slip away. Learning what other people have done helped me show that there is a path forward. It starts with individuals knowing what they can control, such as the lawns in front of their homes. One way to support our insects and native plants is to plant a full native garden. Tall grasses mixed with coneflowers, goldenrod, milkweed, and asters brings back a piece of the ancient prairie, even if only a tiny bit. If you can't commit to a full native garden, a mix of both native and non-native plants, or eco-lawns, is an amazing alternate. These lawns are disease-resistant and drought-tolerant. Some households have even decided to switch fully from grass to clover. The clover flowers to provide food for plants and releases nitrogen into the soil so that fertilizers are not needed. 40 million acres of lawn may seem like a huge number to fight against, and that your contribution doesn't matter. But all it takes is one person planting a native garden, planting milkweed, or one household not raking their leaves to make a change. That person could be you.